Shalom. Kol halalim la Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachaha Kodash, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh Shai, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh Shai, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh Shai. Kol halalim la Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachaha Kodash, which is all praises, honor, glory, blessings, and power be unto Abano Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachaha Kodash. Yahweh is the Most High's name, Yahweh Shai is his son's name. Okay. Yahweh Shai, our lawyer, that speaks on behalf of the elect. All right. The sacrificial lamb, our King Yahweh Shai, that gave himself up to redeem the elect. Okay. And whoever those elect members are, they're very blessed. And one more thing as well, double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone, the mouthpiece of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai on planet Earth. Okay. Double honors to them, elders, the elder apostles of Great Millstone, the elder bishops, the other elders, double honor to them and that rule well. And shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,000 and 1/3. May peace and blessings and the spirit of endurance be upon you and your households. Okay, so the elect, whoever they are very, very, very blessed. Now, you could possibly be one of them. The Lord Yahweh Bashem Yashai will give you faith, build you up, put you in the furnace of affliction. Okay, and you might think that the Lord, like, because we're children, the Lord sees us as children, right, as his sons, right? And sometimes, we might think that, Pops is going hard on us, but you don't, but you realize it, in hindsight, when you think about it, even with your earthly father, right? When he give you licks when you're younger, give you the beat down, your mom will let you know that, okay, I'm gonna tell your dad when he gets home, and then you'd be shit scared. Like I used to, I'd go into the back garden knowing that, okay, if I'm outside in the back garden, if my dad, whoops me, I'll be crying and screaming. Then he won't do it because neighbors would hear, but he didn't give a shit. He still did it anyway. Right. But in hindsight, you think about it, that, it was, it was necessary, it was necessary for growth. And, the Lord also says that, that, I don't want to get off topic, but, that chastisement, right, especially, is a good thing for children, because let me just get it from my phone quickly before I don't want to lose my train of thought. Chastisement. I'll just get it from my phone. I'm going to get some scriptures from my phone as well as from there. Let's go to 12 and 8. Hebrews 12 and 8. Okay. Hebrews 12 verse 8 in the King James Version. But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons. Okay. Verse 9. Hebrews 12 verse 9. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh, which corrected us. Your dad, it could be your uncles, your mom's brothers, your dad's brothers, as long as they do it righteously and not in malice. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh, which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? Yeah. Wouldn't you rather be in subjection to Yahweh Bashem Yashai? Because it is a fearful thing, loosely paraphrasing scripture, to fall into the hands of the living power. I was just reading the book of Samuel, chapter 6 this morning, and, the plagues that the Lord sent, to the heathen. I forgot what it was. I remember, I'm still learning. So Salakia, I believe it was the Philistines, right? Where the Lord gave them emerods or hemorrhoids, which is today's English, right? And sent plagues of mice and all that, and deleted thousands and thousands and thousands because they, it was related to the ark, the Ark of the Covenant, I just read it this morning, so I'm still learning. So, Lord willing, I got that correct. But nevertheless, the Lord don't play. Okay. And we see deletings every day, different news stories of Israel, of 2/3 Israelites, unelected Israelites, heathens getting deleted. We don't give a shit about the heathen though. But I'm just saying the Lord is very, very loving, but also on the flip side, the Lord can get you too, man. Isaiah 45 verse 7, the Lord deals with the right hand side and the left hand side. Okay. Now going back to the point, sometimes we might think that okay, Pops is going a bit hard on us, but then in hindsight, you think about it that it was necessary. All right. Okay. So these are blessings. These are blessings. All right. You might not feel it at the time, and then now you fast forward from your childhood all the way up until adulthood, and where you are at this point in time, finding out that you're an Israelite, you're in the truth. Okay. And you see people your age. Some of them are strung out on heroin. Some of them are strung out on crack. Some of them, have left this earthly realm. You know, a lot of them didn't do too great. Not that you're bigging yourself up. You're just a regular guy. You earn your daily bread. You don't like no, you don't know one of those worldly. You're not a famous person in this world. F this world. I'm just saying, generally, the Lord Yahweh Shem has brought you in this truth. Okay, so you got to be thankful, all right, and not be so negative, because this truth is beautiful, man. This truth gives you hope, and plus you're an Israelite, bruv. You're an Israelite. You're an Israelite, man. You could be one of the sons of God. That's amazing. Just think about it. People talk about the lottery. People talk about, you know, being shortlisted for something great. Okay, you know, like being some kind of worldly NBA team or some kind of soccer team or football team, right? Whatever, right? That's nothing. That's in this world. So if you made it in this world, you're basically a bastard. If you're an Israelite and you made it in this world and you continue to stay in this world, like if you're a Steve Harvey, if you're a Jay-Z, George Lopez, Andy Garcia, whatever, Jennifer Lopez. I'm trying to go through a list of Israelites. I think Andy Garcia is Jake, more than likely Jake, yeah. More than likely, yeah. It's Manasseh, innit? More than likely, yeah. But if you made it in this world, the Lord Yahweh Shemashai doesn't sees you as a bastard, doesn't even see you as his son. You're just a 2/3 ninja, right? You're unelect. That's like you're being on the same level to the heathen, like in 2 Ezra 6 verse 54. You're like spit at this moment in time, but in the kingdom you're going to be good money coming through the loins of the elect 144,000 men. All right, the 2/3 and unelect. So you got to be thankful, man, to be in this truth. Okay? Every day the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is saving you. You might think, oh, this, that, and third ain't working out. All right? But you don't realize, you think about it, thinking, okay, maybe the Lord didn't let me go there because this could have happened, that could have happened. The Lord saves you when you don't even know it. The Lord Yahweh Shemashai knows your steps. Proverbs 20 and 24. Man's goings of the Lord, then how can a man understand his own ways? Okay? If you had your own way, hypothetically speaking, you probably would have got something horrible would have happened by now. But the Lord Yahweh Shemashai covers you, okay, every single day. Psalms 34 verse 7, okay? The angel of the Lord encampeth around about them and delivereth them. Loosely paraphrasing. The Lord delivers you, gets you out of situations before they even happen. Okay, you're walking down the road. You could take, it's evening, winter time, autumn time, is dark, 8 p.m. at night or whatever, right? And you took a right instead of a left. And on the left-hand side were, two evil characters, that were looking for somebody to, to get, whatever, gunpoint, knife point, whatever. All right, or something horrible, something evil. But the Lord puts it in your mind, take a right, and you're protected. The Lord protects you with that, and you don't even know sometimes. Okay? And you might think to yourself, my life is so bland. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're blessed. You're beyond blessed. Especially if you're improving spiritually. Especially if your faith is growing. Especially if the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is giving you signs every day. Okay? All right? Sometimes you might think that, okay, that girl liked you. She's super fine and everything. She's built. She's like, damn, I need that in my life, because she's so fine. You're a good looking dude. back in the world, women would just flock to you. It'd be easy for you. Now you gotta like damn near jump through hurdles. And I'm thinking, shit, what's wrong with me? I look better than this this person, that person, whatever. That could happen. That's all spiritual though. The girl might give you the googly eyes. You walk up to her, she might say, then she might go cold. That's Satan jumping into it. The Lord just, sent a demonic spirit on her, or the Lord took a spirit off her. That was attracted to you. How the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yashai does it, because that girl could be a detriment. Okay, because a woman, a woman, especially a woman can be a very powerful thing to some men. They can make them go astray. And sometimes you might think, nah, I'm strong, I'm all right, fuck, I can deal with it. But, the Lord Yahweh Shemashai knows you more than you know yourself. All right. When you're built up enough, okay, and you're mentally ready, spiritually ready and all that, the Lord will give you these little trinkets, little blessings here and there, all right, to keep you balanced out. But that will happen in due time, because remember, you're in training right now. You're going through the purification process, the quality control process, okay, to deal with the bigger battles and bigger hurdles. Okay, so be thankful. Be thankful. You could have been doing something else. I typed that in the search engine. You could have been a worldly ninja. You could have been a drug dealer. You could have been a pimp. You could have been somebody trying to make it in this world. And now these people that are trying to make it in this world, our people I'm talking about, now they're going doolally, which means in the UK, crazy. They have no avenue, no sign of light. They just think everything is here and now, and that I'm going to live my best life. That quote, that weirdo faggot, what's his name again? Baby, one of the tattoo on his head, the satanic star on his head. I'm living my best life. Every day's a birthday, all that kind of mindset. They don't realize that they're Israelites and the fact that we got a world coming. Everything in their mind is like, it's like a fairy tale, and the world they're talking about, thinking that you're going to be wearing 90s and floating around. 90s meaning like wearing these fruity type garments, like wearing some kind of white, like they're wearing these, like these choir boys wear, these church clothes types situations. They think that you're going to be in the sky just floating around with wings and just saying, come hither and all that, and just float around, and Edomite Jebus is going to be there, and that's heaven. They don't realize what the kingdom of heaven is. They don't realize that that they're the chosen people. They believe in this world and the so-called white man going to be over them forever. Imagine being like that. Actually, you don't want to imagine that, because that's horrible. And the Lord Yahweh Shemashah has given you some spiritual water to quench your thirst, knowing that, this has to happen for the good things to happen, because we're coming into the kingdom. All right, it's like you got a plaster on your leg. You hurt your knee. Your mother put a plaster on it. She cleansed it. She put some antiseptic on there, put a plaster on it, whatever. Right, and then you got to take the plaster off after a couple of days. Would you rather have it taken off slowly or ripped off fast? We'd rather have it ripped off fast so we can get in the kingdom. So we want things to go down quick. All right. Yes, it's going to be, scary. It's going to be a bumpy ride. But if we don't go through it, we're not going to get to the kingdom. These things have to go down. Remember, this whole kingdom, Esau, Edom's world, Babylon, Ground Zero America, especially, and, the other places around the world have been built up through blood. And it's going to go down, in a bloody way. All right? Be thankful. You could have been doing something else, man. You could have been listen, man, the Lord looks at you with favorable eyes at this moment in time. Now, whether you make it through is another factor, but the factor also remains is that you are an Israelite. All right? Now, if we do have to die on this side, we pray to Yahweh Bashem Ashai to give us a spirit to deal with things like that, to have the mindset, and the Lord will. Okay? You die, you won't feel it. That's what I believe, because the angels will be there, and then you'll be with the Lord, man. And then you'll come back down in the chariots, with the rest of the jakes, that are part of the elect, So Or if you make it through, you might get a sample of spiritual power on this side, if it's the Lord's will. Or you will be next to a Jake with spiritual power. Okay? Just remember that. Be thankful you could have been doing something else. All right? Don't look at other people in the world, man. Oh, yeah, they're driving a Lambo, they're driving a Ferrari. When I look at a Lamborghini and Ferrari, it's a nice car, but it's not like nothing enticing to me. I tell you what's a beautiful car. I like, the Issacharit brothers and the Judite brothers on the West Coast, with the low riders and that, and the old schools. Those are beautiful cars. And you can tell those cars are designed by Jake, them Cadillacs, 1954 convertibles, and low riders, Oh, that's just Jake Stees all day. Those are beautiful vehicles. And Lamborghini, Ferraris, it doesn't do nothing. It doesn't hit the same as we were when we were children in the 80s and 90s. You saw something like that back then. So, whoa, it's like you saw a chariot, back then. But it doesn't mean jack shit now. It doesn't. Not that, SHIting on any Jake that worked hard and bought himself a second-hand Lamborghini and just, works hard and just maintains it. Some people do that. Some people buy old school Lambos and Ferraris and look after it. And Jakes do that. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, those are people that work regular, that work hard and work many, 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 many years in good jobs, engineers and lawyers and all that kind of shit. But I'm talking about these people that are sold out. You don't want that, because you might think that they're getting all these trinkets now, but they're high all the time to mask the pain. They look in the mirror, they see demons. They're constantly plagued. The way the angels are always surrounding the elect and guiding their mindset in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahashai. These demons, right, are around these unelect Jakes, these 2/3. And they report back to their handlers that, okay, he's not, he or she's not doing their rituals. Get on them, And more than likely, things like that are going down. I mean, a lot of these people see demons. They know these people ain't lizards. If you see their faces change or whatever, that's just a demon inhabiting them. The same way the angels are inhabiting us or around us, the demons are around them and inhabiting them. They're going to do homo rituals. You as a man, you really want to, come on, man. It's disgusting. You got to drink blood, eat feces. For what? To have a fucking mansion? Palm tree swaying? A couple of rap videos with a couple of nice looking women? But really, you turn so demonic. You turn into full blown homo. You don't even want women no more. These demons, man, are inhabiting these individuals, man. You must see Jay-Z married to Beyonce, but do you reckon he ever deals with her? Only the Lord knows. All right. So be thankful, man. You could have been chosen to be part of this world, man. Brakti Yahweh Bashem Yashai, Bahashem Rakakadash. The water Yahweh Bashem Yashai. I don't want nothing to do with this world, man. Nothing. All right. So be thankful you could have been doing something else. All right. Okay, key aspects of this perspective shift. Acknowledging that things could have been worse, allows you to find gratitude even in challenging or less than perfect situations. All right? Contentment over perfection. Choosing to be thankful for what you currently have rather than focusing on what is missing is a foundation for finding happiness and reducing stress. You might not have a Lamborghini, but you've got a nice car. You might not have a mansion, but you got a roof over your head. Okay? All right? The blessings in disguise mentality. Moments that seem unfavorable. Okay, and my phone pinged. Blessings in disguise. The blessings in disguise mentality. Moments that seem unfavorable, like people not living up to expectations, can be viewed as opportunities for growth or as lessons serving as blessings in disguise. All right? The catalyst for growth. This mindset helps you focus on what you do have, allowing you to appreciate your life and see the good in everyday experiences. Yeah, the Lord is making you grow. And you know you've grown, Jake. And the Lord Yahweh Shem Yeshai is giving you a spiritual confidence as well. Resilience. Embracing this perspective can help you persevere through difficult times turning potential negativity into a, well, it could have been worse, or even I've seen better days, but I've also seen worse moment. All right. The Lord is building you up, right, for the greater trials to come. Okay, so be thankful. You could have been doing something else, man. I'm just going to read two more scriptures. We're in 20 minutes, and I'm trying to not make this video too long. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 41 and 9. Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, Thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. All right. Actually, you know what? Let me go to I read verse no Isaiah 41 and 8. But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. Okay, okay. You got to be from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. Not not just saying I'm from Abraham. Okay. Phone pinged again for that one. You got to be from Jacob. Verse 9, Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, Thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. All right. Verse 10, let's read that, as I love this part. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy power. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. You know, the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai has his elect, man, covered with his wings. All right. John 15:16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. All right. All right. All right. And whatever your office is, whatever particular skill, don't compare yourself to the elders. The Lord has given you enough for salvation. Not everybody is meant to have the same, beautiful mind like our apostles and elders that are so meticulous in their nature with the scriptures and historic facts and, archaeology, all those beautiful things regarding, the truth of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. You just deal with the particular office that the Lord has given you. If you are part of that body, you're going to have your particular spiritual tools or spiritual skills, and you do your part, right? Do your part. Isaiah 48 and 10. Isaiah 48 and 10. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. All right. All right. Now, a lot of our people go through affliction, but they don't realize it. They just think that the Lord hates them. And more than likely, the Lord does if they're 2/3 or unelect. But the you Israelites that are part of that number to be saved, the Lord Yahweh Shai doesn't put on you more than you can handle. You don't realize that, haven't you? You might be stewing or being put through in the pressure cooker for about a day, maybe two, maybe three. But the Lord Yahweh Shai gives you an avenue, a light in the end of that dark tunnel. Does he not? It's to make you grow. And you keep the faith. Yeah, the Lord's going to take care of it. The Lord's going to take care of it. The Lord's going to take care of it. Cast your burdens upon Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai. He shall not suffer the righteous to be moved. And then what happens? Lo and behold, the Lord brings you through. And then you're good money. And say, Thawadi Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai. Brakti Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai. Kal halali ma Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai. Building you up, 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 to the point where you'll be ready for when all hell breaks loose. All right? When the rest of the world, they're going to suffer. They're going to suffer unless, they're 1/3 family members and kith and kin, Israelites, of course, that will be saved, and they're part of that greater number of the 1/3. All right. But the rest of the world outside of the elect Israelites, all right, you unelect Jakes, you 2/3, you unelect Jakes around the world, you 2/3 in America, you heathens, you are fucked, man, with what's coming on this planet Earth. All right. So be thankful. You could have been doing something else, Jake. Be thankful, be thankful, be thankful. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there now. All praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakak Vadash, Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwam Yashrala, Shalom.